Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and welcome to my review rant on Alien 2 on Earth. No one can hear you rant, or everyone can hear you cry, or anyone within this movie saw it, or Alien 2 on Earth. Now, this film goes under a couple different titles, and for some fucking reason this film has a Blu-ray release. I don't know why this film has a Blu-ray release. I have no idea. There's maybe some outtakes footage, which is more than it deserves. But it's a 1980 film. Other titles are Alien Terror. There's actually a trailer under that title, Alien Terror. Strangers, which that's a really boring title. Let's be honest, the only reason this film has any kind of recognition is because it's called Alien 2 on Earth, the Alien sequel before Aliens. It has nothing to do with Alien. Well, there is a alien in it, but it's people in caves, fucking, I don't even know how to fucking go into this. It's directed by a guy named Ciro Ippolito, and the name he uses is Sam Cromwell. More like Sam Crockwell, crocky shit. And yeah, Midnight Legacy released this on Blu-ray under the original title, Alien 2 on Earth. And they did not... I think Fox tried to sue them, and they're like, no, you can't sue us, haha, because there is some book called Alien. And I'm like, is that really how it works? So does that mean I can make a fucking Alien sequel? Can I make Alien 5? Call it Alien 5 on... Well, now that I think about it, if that director from District 9 makes Alien 5, it will be on Earth. It'll probably be in that fucking South Africa. Alien 5 in Johannesburg. Alien 5 in a city. But Alien 2 on Earth, it's a very, very boring movie. And the only thing worthwhile is maybe 40, 50 seconds of gore. I'll tell you, it's a woman on the ground, which there's a slow pan up her body, and then this pretty much sock puppet from hell. Think of a sock puppet, but you put a bunch of goop and shit on it. Pops out of her face, her eyeball pops out, grabs into a guy, gets around his neck, he gets his foot tangled, is hanging upside down, and then because it was on his neck, it slowly falls off. So he's like upside down, his neck slowly falls off, falls to the ground, and any promotional that you see with a head on the ground is that. The head crawls to the ground, and there's the disembodied head. Let's see, two people, I think one of them is Michele Soavi. This is a guy who would go on to be a director of films like Cemetery Man, The Church, film called Stage Fright. And this girl, they pretty much get hamburger meat to the face. Our lead, who is a psychic girl, telepathic, but only when the movie tells us to. When the story's for it, because if she's psychic, she's the worst psychic in films because she can't figure out the ending of the film. I'm like, you're a psychic and you can't figure this out already when the fucking audience itself is way ahead of you, lady? What kind of psychic are you? But I guess she's psychic so that she can blow a head off of someone who has one of these aliens in him. Kind of in him. And I'm like, well, fuck, you could have just had someone bring a fucking gun and blow the head off. You didn't have to make the girl psychic and have her be pointless. One guy gets killed off screen, and one guy gets, like, bit in the face. And then, at the beginning of the film, a mom goes up to her little girl, and she turns. Even though she's crying, she's on the beach crying. We hear her crying. And then turns around, there's no face. And I say no face, but it looks like if you took a hamburger patty and you put it on her face. No, more like a steak. If you took a steak, you slap the steak on the girl's face. That's what it looks like. But yet she's still crying, even though she has no face. This film was such a chore snore to sit through. It starts out with stock footage, or I guess it's supposed to be stock footage, or is stock footage done on purpose? It looks like stock footage, but in the dub dialogue, they're talking about how it's stock footage and how they're shooting. The plot's about astronauts, moon, they're coming back, space capsule is going to be entering the stratosphere, and you have a report saying the space capsule is going to enter the stratosphere at blah blah blah. And I know my friend Mike OCP talked about that, and I wanted to listen closely to see if there was an explanation. And the explanation is, the reason the guy says that is because, well, we're not live. See, the guy's talking to the news camera, who are at the camera at their studio. Says, well, we're not doing this live. So yeah, when the time comes and when they come up, I'll just say the space capsule is going into that stratosphere at blah blah blah, whatever the time is. But it just sounds stupid, silly, and almost too confusing for such a shitty, low-budget Italian. I can't even say ripoff, because this film, as the title suggests, is not even in outer space. And you don't see the creature until 40-50 minutes in. I know what you're saying, but what about a slow burn? Alien is how you do a slow burn in a good way. This is an example of how you do a slow burn in a bad way, and even then the reveal is not like, yeah! It's more like, it's like you're at a doctor's office, you got prostate cancer, yeah! What you want is a real reveal of, you're perfectly fine, okay, and you win a brand new car, and here's my secretary. She's clean, she's straight, she's above age, she has no boyfriend, you can fuck her. Yay! So anyway, the beginning, they're waiting for the return of these astronauts, and yeah, the friends, who are some of our leads, driving in a van down by the river. And the score is weird because it's like they took bluegrass and tried to mix it with creepy synthesizer. It's like a banjo, like bluegrass type shit. But then they try to go in like creepy synth. I can't explain it. It's such a weird combination that they're trying to fit. But it's like a jigsaw puzzle that they're trying to nip off to make it fit. It just doesn't. It's weird. But they get to the studio, and this guy, the same crew that's with the astronauts, I guess on the same day that they're doing this event, they're also, hey, we're also going to talk about this girl, and she's going to tell us about caves. And I'm thinking, that's a weird thing. You would think I know it sounds stupid, I'm thinking too much into it, but shuttle coming down, astronauts. And on the same day, we're going to talk with this girl about caves. That'd be like, oh, we can't wait till the president. Who's going to be elected president? And at the same time, we're going to see who won the spelling bee. You're like, really? And even as I'm thinking, even as the producer director of this news, of this show that they're doing, I'm like, you're doing a shitty job, because as your show's going on, the boom mic is falling. The boom mic is falling right almost above the interviewer. And I'm like, when is the director, producer of this show going, yo, get that boom mic out of the camera. Get that boom mic out of the way. You're fired. You're fucking fired. Everyone's fired. And I guess the girl, again, she has psychic vision. I have a psychic vision. We don't see the psychic vision. There's no weird or interesting or clever edits or even sound effects. It's just, and I just had a sighted vision, apparently, like this girl had. But she's, and then her boyfriend tells the guy, the interviewer, oh yeah, she's telepathic. I don't say telekinetic, but those are two. She's telepathic. But I'm like, she's telepathic? Bullshit. Yeah, when the story fucking fits it. And then it's just a lot of padding. It's almost as if the director, when we get to the caves, you know, these caves look cool. These caves look great. I need to make a movie. And you know, Alien was a very popular movie, and I think we can use the title. That'll sell. And, you know, I love the way these caves look. Let's just have a bunch of shit at the beginning, and then have a stupid twist at the end. Alright, let's do it. But we need some padding, because it's gotta be an hour and 20-some fucking minutes long. Well, how about waiting on a beach? And what's sad, I was getting so bored. They had a shot of a kid going backwards and tripping on his pail, which seemed like a real thing, and I actually chuckled at that. I looked at the kid trip. I know that's mean to say, but that's what this movie does. And like the girl is waiting on the beach and for this old guy to come in. And this old guy, by the way, doesn't let her answer his fucking... Like, he asks a question and then doesn't wait for her to answer. Just like, he goes to the girl and says, does he help you? Oh, not much, huh? I mean, the guy doesn't even let her answer a question. Like, he asks a question and just keeps on going as if she answered, but she never did. And then it cuts to bowling. And I want to... It's like I want to do my impersonation of Charlie Brewster from the original Fright Night 2. Where, you know, someone tells him bowling. He's like, bowling? Is that one like, bowling? And by the way, I love how they dubbed the two black guys. Because they do it so over the top. Hey, man, how's it doing? Hey, how's it going? Yeah, man, I'm doing good. Yeah. I'm like, Jesus Christ. But they really love the... I mean... The makers of this film really love the bowling. They really love this bowling. I'm like, fucking bowling. What is that? I mean, that must be the thing. Like, they knew caves and they knew a guy who had a bowling alley. Caves and a bowling alley. That's like the two. We have these two. How can we make this fit? And I'm in this bowling alley. I'm like, oh my god. I mean, speaking of Fright Night 2, yeah, I mean, I'd rather watch that movie. They had a better bowling scene than this fucking scene. Just fucking dumbass bets and he wins and, oh yeah, great, this guy we don't give a shit about, we don't know, won at bowling. Go watch fucking Kingpin instead. And then they leave. Thelma walks on the beach. Thelma is the lead girl's name. And of course I was thinking, well, where the fuck is Louise? But Thelma walks slowly on the beach, and then she just yells no. And even this girl, this woman's like, what are you doing? And she doesn't know. I'm like, yeah, that's a great psychic. That's the thing with telepathics. Why is it that telepathics are telepathics, but they never win the lottery? They never know what the fuck's going on. I'm like, fuck your telepathy. Shove it up your ass. Your telepathy is about as useless. Fuck, man. I made some analogy, but this movie doesn't deserve it. Because this review is already 14 minutes long, and it's going to be a long review, and it doesn't fucking deserve it. I'm just cut the shit and get to the point. This girl sees a pulsing stone. The mom, it's like, oh, wow, that's cute. Later on, the mom finds the girl crying. That's where you get the no face, as if it's stuck with a shitload of hamburger or a steak on her face. the friends listen to the radio and they talk about, oh, the capsule landed and opened, but there were no astronauts, even though 40 minutes ago it was A-OK. That's what they actually, the guy on the radio says. They're driving, they stop at a place, a guy's taking a piss, or I should say leaving a piss, finds his bluestone, and then they dress up for their cave spelunking, and it takes about 27 minutes to get to the cave. And of course it's weird, I mean, there's not too many horror films that deal with a cave. I mean, there's The Descent, which I enjoyed. The Descent Part 2, which sucks ass. If someone goes, which is worse? This is The Descent Part 2. They both can kiss my ass. There's The Cave, which is... Comparing films like this and Descent Part 2, The Cave is actually not that bad. It's alright as a time waster. And there's a couple that I want to check out, like The Strangeness. Or even films like As Above, So Below. I love that movie. The Tunnel. Love that movie. Midnight Meat Train. It's not really a cave, but I guess I'm thinking like underground movies. Fuck Midnight Meat Train. That was a shitty movie. Shitty CGI. Hated the ending. I'm getting off track again. But it's weird. I mean, you know, it's called Alien 2, but you think about these caves, it's more comparison to The Descent. But even then, The Descent, the only comparison is a cave. Might as well be the fucking... I would want to say the Cave Bears, but then I realized, no, that's actually the Care Bears I'm thinking of. I wish it was the fucking Care Bears killing people in this movie. At least that'd make it more interesting and less boring. A horror version of the Care Bears killing people in a cave. That'd be better than the fuck what we got. Because they go down and the lights in the night in the cave look like twinkling stars, and it takes him like 3 fucking minutes to go down the cave. 3 fucking minutes. Listen to the same fucking music that I've been listening to throughout the film, and this one guy brought a fucking typewriter down with him. You're going cave spelunking. You went down on a rope and you brought a fucking typewriter with you. I'm a writer. You get a pen, you get paper, and you write the shit. You don't bring your fucking typewriter down. How about you type the words F U? Or type the words fail on the F scale of fuck. And of course I mentioned this before and I'll mention it again. This movie's fucking boring. Boring as sin. The sin of sloth. It's just fucking lazy. Lazy as fuck movie. I don't know what I'm expecting for a film called Alien 2 on Earth, but it's not even a fun exploitation, you know, blood on the walls gore fest. Because other than the fucking, you know, stake on the little girl, even though she was crying, you've had nothing but talking, stock footage, more talking, a telepathic bitch who's a shitty telepathic. I'm more telepathic than this bitch because I could see shit coming a mile away before she could. More often. And 3 minutes to go down this fucking cave, like I said, dumbass brings a typewriter with him. You get tits. You get a moment where they see rock formations, one guy goes, that looks like a camel. You wonder walking the camera with the light on, blinding my eyes. So great, now you're actually assaulting me physically, let alone mentally. Because you turn my brain to a sludge fest, because it's a sluggish movie to sit through. They walk around, and that's where the sock puppet shoots out of this blue rock crystal thing that the guy who was pissing at the, where they put their clothes on, found and took it with them. And the sock puppet shoots out from the stone. And what this thing is about is kind of weird. Because the telepathic girl, first off, she didn't see that coming. Yeah, great telepathic. Then she runs to the people and say, oh, her face is gone. They come back, her face is fine. But then, of course, it's because the creature's in it. So I'm like, wait a minute. This little creature can, what, reconstruct your face? If your face is fucked up, it can reconstruct it as if it's perfectly fine? Really? What, it has a little med kit this big with laser surgery? And popped in her mouth? Or popped in and then from the outside? Your face is fine now. What, is it a mini version of fucking Darkman that made a fucking face and put it on? I'll make it bigger and put it on your face now. And it takes fucking forever for them to climb down. Because they each one gotta climb down for the stretcher. Then the guy has to pull the thing up. Which made me think of The Simpsons. When the classic episode where Bart and Homer, they're going over the cliff and they fall. And when they get Homer up with the stretcher, and he's like, oh, ow. As it's going up, it keeps hitting the wall. And then one of them is, it like hits a tree and then he falls back down. I was just waiting for that stretcher to just fall back down. That would be entertaining. But going up and bringing her back up, I swear it takes fucking 6 minutes. Because I was actually counting, like, how long is this fucking thing going to take? And then the slow pan up the body and comes out of her face, eyeball, hits the guy in the neck, head falls off. I mean, this is probably at the 40 to 50 minute mark. And it's only an hour and 24-minute movie. And literally, it's like the 40 or 50 minute mark. I'm actually thinking around 50 minutes. Could be about 40, but... And then after that, it's like 15, 20 minutes of... oh, the sonar to find a way out. And I'm like, well, why don't you ask the telepathic lady to find a way out? No. They don't have the solar stuff. They go back. They get the solar stuff. Two go off. It breaks. Just super rat. Literally a rat that shoots out a camera and broke their antenna, so they're lost. And then the woman gets stuck. And it's like, wait, is she stuck in the wall? And it almost looks like the wall sucked her up, or the stone wall sucked her up. But I guess the two things that look like two kidneys, like grabbed her, and the guy comes up and hits him in the face, and then he's dead. And then all of a sudden, the girl is perfectly fine. And then the next shot, she has like an eye kind of hanging out. I'm like, this is Oscar caliber editing. Yep, it's fantastic. But they got killed by a pair of kidneys because that's what they look like. So now there's about 4 people left. And one guy is lost. And now the girl's trying to be psychic. And for some reason, yeah, the guy, her boyfriend, like here, not even looking at her. Not even looking at his woman. Because his woman's like here. And he's like, do it. He's like, do it. Concentrate. Do it. And then the girl's like here, concentrating. And they have a shitty lens flare, green lens flare, I guess to signify her power. You didn't do that earlier, but now you're doing it now. But yeah, the guy's not even looking at his girlfriend. He's looking at this. I'm like, look at your girlfriend and talk to her. No, he's too busy looking at here. So the girl looks at here. And then it doesn't work. That's the funny thing. It doesn't fucking work. Because she's like, it's above you. Like right at the second that he looks up, and these sausage links, that's what they look like. Sausage links come up and kill the guy. Or I should say touch the guy and then he dies. And then the guy comes back out, of course, he's like this, walking slow. And of course we, the audience, goes, we know what's up. But then she goes like, you're not him! You're not him! I'm like, I guess that's more of that telepathic work coming through. I guess I am telepathic, because I could figure out sooner than you could. Again, you're supposed to be the telepathic bitch. And pretty much they have a staring contest, and she blows the fucker's head up. Honestly, you go on YouTube, find a little, I'm sure, clips that show the gore. And that's all you get out of the movie. It's not the acting, it's not the writing, it's not the script, it's not the music, it's definitely not the pacing, because even for an 80-some minute movie, it still moves at a hugely sluggish pace. It's not for anything clever. And as she blows the head up, she inadvertently causes one of her friends to die. Because the head blows up, but it doesn't kill the creature. Which I'm like, then what was the point of blowing his head up if you're not going to kill the creature? No, the creature's still alive, and her boyfriend gets her out of the way, but then there's another guy it hits his face, and then he dies. And then the two they escape, run out, and do this really silly editing, where if it's going normal here, but then when it's like this, it's slow-mo. They're running normally, and then slow-mo. They're running normally in this angle, and then slow-mo again. And I'm like, fucking shit. And yeah, guess where this movie's going now? They drive, they find an empty cop car, they go to the place they were at before, where this old lady was at, where pretty much where they dressed up before they went their spelunking. There's no one there. They go in the city. It's empty. It's fucking hilarious because when they park their car, if you look right here, there are cars stopped at a red light. And before it cuts, it turns green and you see cars moving. Like, this is supposed to be an empty city, but right in the corner you see cars at a red light. And it goes green and cars are moving. Moving in that direction. I gotta get some fun out of this somehow. And they go to the bowling alley. Of all the places, they go back to the bowling alley, and it's empty. I'm like, what? Is Shomer Shabbos? Is fucking John Goodman gonna come out? Is like, you're over the line. Make it zero. Mark it zero. It's Shomer Shabbos. Shomer Shabbos. Because the dude abides. This movie is what you did when you fuck Alien in the ass. Actually, no, that's Alien 3. But this movie as well. This is what you did when you fucked a stranger in the ass. That's what you feel like watching this movie. Because you go to the bowling alley, no one's there, so maybe, hey, maybe it's Shomer Shabbos. But, you know, I wish I could see that movie. The dude Lebowski, Jeff Bridges, and John Goodman as Walter fuck up alien creatures. I'd see that movie in a heartbeat. Hell, a lot more than this. You can even take place in the fucking bowling alley. And they really love bowling. And they must have known a guy who had a bowling alley. And yeah, the psychic lady, again, this girl is supposed to be psychic, telepathic. But she can't guess that her hubby is going to go off and die. Because he's like, Thelma! And she's like, what's happening? She doesn't say that, but I'm like, you're psychic. You're telepathic, right? You don't know? And then the pulsating butthole. Yes, you heard me right. Because that's what it looks like. It's the point of view of this. Like, imagine this is a camera. Imagine this is the camera on the lady, and this is what you see. You know, a pulsating sphincter chasing this lady. That point of view. That's all you see of it, by the way. That point of view of the pulsating butthole. In fact, maybe that's what the movie should have been called. Attack of the Pulsating Buttholes. That probably would actually sell more tickets. Maybe that'd be the sequel. Alien 3, The Pulsating Butthole. Well, considering Alien 3 that actually fits. Because it's an asshole. But lady runs outside, screams, gets on her knees as if she's going to look at a fucking Statue of Liberty that's on the ground crumbled and go, you maniacs! And then camera pans up, and she's alone in the city. 'Cause we built this city on rock and roll. Alien 2 on Earth. What can I say about this film? Well, I can say a lot apparently, because I've been talking for 29 minutes. It is boring. It is slow. It is sluggish. It is a lot of filler. There's maybe 15 minutes of movie in this. 20 minutes of movie, and they filled it up to an hour and 20-some minutes. And you know those 15, 20 minutes wouldn't be that good either. Yeah, you have some fun gore. The Guardian's head blown up, the guy whose head falls down, the coming out of the woman's face, lying on the ground, the eyeball. I give you those 3 gore moments. Which is what? If you count, honestly, at most 15 seconds, at most, of an hour and 24-minute movie. Because what else is there? Stock footage, walk around, bowling, getting their deer. 27 minutes in, we're in the cave. Go around the cave, spelunking. Blind me because you put the fucking light in my face. Oh, look, they look like camels. The alien pops up like 40, 50 minutes in. And again, it's a sock puppet that you put some red goo on. Or a pair of kidneys. If a pair of kidneys to walk, I'd rather see Dead Alive, which had the lungs and shit alive. Much better movie. Also a low-budget film. Great job by Peter Jackson in that film. A psychic lady who's the worst psychic lady of all time. Again, you walk into an empty city, I'm like, you know, I know this is before Night of the Comet, I know this is before some of those movies, but it's also after movies like The Omega Man. Also, it's kind of like, wait, these aliens are really tiny. They took over an entire city within the day or so, because I think they spent the night, and then they woke up the next day. It's like within a day, they made a whole city empty? I was supposed to buy that shit? These aliens that all you see is the tiny kidney-sized sock puppets and the pulsating butthole point of view. They wiped out an entire city within one day? Within one day. I'm sorry, I don't really buy it. Even if it was the Critters or the Gremlins, I don't think they could wipe out a city in one day. Maybe do it a few days or a week, but one day, not really. But anyway, that's the least of this movie's problems. Dialogue, script, acting, dubbing. Although if you think about it, is there really any such thing as good dubbing? It's such a good question. Is there such a thing as good dubbing? But you always hear about bad dubbing, but again, what movies have actual good dubbing? But anyway, I'm gonna stop. It's 33 minutes. This is too long for this fucking movie. But hell, that's what I usually do. Fuck this movie. Alien 2, Electric Boogaloo can kiss my ass. Although it's still better than Alien 3. But anyway, fuck Alien 2. If I want to watch the real Alien 2, watch Aliens. Much better movie. Hashtag fuck Alien 3.